Hi guys, I'm Bex from Trista Bytes and Reading Comic Con is almost upon us. I was there last year to check out everything it had to offer, which was a lot, and I mean a lot for a small convention. They packed so much into a small space, but without it feeling crowded. The convention is both family and disabled access friendly, with effort put in to ensure there was enough width on the aisles for everyone, even if people wanted to stop and chat by a stall, as I always end up doing. I ran into so many people I knew from the big London conventions, including some awesome cosplay friends, and saw a lot of the cool things you would expect at those cons, all packed into a venue a fraction the size. They had multiple Batmobiles and other vehicles, a huge walking dinosaur, hordes of Stormtroopers, an awesome Iron Throne to get your photo with, a lot of great guests from UK and US film and TV, a whole indie gaming section, some top name artists and comic creators. I wish I'd bought one of those hats, plus talks, professional photography, a cosplay contest. They had a huge variety of different things to buy and do, and of course an awesome welcoming atmosphere. Reading Comic Con is divided into multiple rooms. The main hall has the guests, stalls and all the other usual fun things to do and photo ops. The other activities were in separate rooms, which was a really smart move. There was a dedicated room with a professional photographer and 2 halls for the gaming activities as well. This meant that the sounds from the games didn't make noise over people trying to chat when they were buying things from stall holders, no one was standing in anyone else's way, queues could be managed really well, and it just worked incredibly well. The first room I had a look in, being me of course, was the indie gaming room. It wasn't a huge room, but as with the rest of the convention, they had utilised some sort of Tetris meets TARDIS powers to cram a lot of indie games in, while still ensuring there was enough space to play and also get buggies around. Just some of the gems I played included BFF or Die, a fun game where you share the controller with a friend to navigate some beautiful and very varied puzzle style levels as a team, or Die. Failure Neuroslicers, a highly tactical cyberpunk RTS with a focus on map claiming and resource flow, with a clever hacking ability to manipulate the battle boards. Super Space Slayer 2, a kind of modern retro mobile rails-based scrolling shooter with an absolutely hysterical ad video that was a lot of fun. Bullion, a madcap multiplayer where you play angry cow pirates fighting over treasure. It's a simple but addictive 4-player indie game at which I was not as good as this small child, but more on him later. Mao Mao Castle, the mobile or motion-controlled rainbow collecting flying cat game. Of course, no indie section is complete without me dragging my friends over to play this one, including Goku here. He lost horribly, but I edited this to make it look like he did okay. Girth Loinhammer, yes, you heard that correctly, which was effectively a grown-up parody choose-your-own-adventure text game with 512 alternate endings. It doesn't film well, but it's really hysterical. Balance of Kingdoms, which I am utterly awful at, is a brilliant game of building skill combined with chaotic cannon fights. A ridiculous amount of fun, even when you are losing horribly. Nature's Zombie Apocalypse puts you in the shoes of animals fighting to survive in a world overrun with human zombies. Loads of modes of play with up to 8-player co-op. The poster has a duck holding a gun with its wing. Need I say more? And there were plenty more I didn't even get to try. As well as the dedicated indie games room, there was a room by a local Nintendo player community which had consoles from the NES up to the Wii U for everyone to try and prizes to be won. And this little guy who keeps popping up in the video is Leo, a future YouTube gaming star who is better than me at every game we tried, even indie games he'd never played before. I really wish I was kidding, but this kid's got some skills. The main hall had an artist and comic section which had some incredible talent, many of which were people I'd not seen at bigger conventions. The calibre of artists and comic creators was very high, and I got to check out some titles including the new comics by Lew Stringer of Beano, Viz and Dandy fame, and David Leach's disturbingly funny punchlines in his Psycho Grand series, which, although not to my taste, was wonderfully put together and a must for fans of the old Garbage Pail Kids and similar dark comedy. I also got to chat to Kult Creations, who make Reverend Cross, Armageddon Patrol, and a series called The Clock Strikes, which continues the 1930s dark noir series The Clock, starring a masked vigilante protagonist with a high society secret identity. Predating the likes of Batman, The Clock was actually the first printed masked superhero. There were also authors of books such as sci-fi series Adamanta, The Second Chance, and the fantasy stories of Imaginings. The range of art was really varied, from fan art on popular characters to original creations, commissions and portraits, including Simon Wyatt's rather fab Wheel of Fortune style picker for his caricatures. There was also lots of stuff to buy. Yep, there were pop figures, that's all I have to say there, but there were plenty of other things too. Statues, chromium comics, which are shiny, handmade products, Lego minifigs, geek clothing, handmade wizardry from these lovely lads, rare Pokemon cards I'm too old to know about, and toys I do know about. I could have bought this whole stall and I talked to these guys for far too long. And there were loads more. Reading pulled in some rather good guests as well. They had actors from Harry Potter, Doctor Who, Willy Wonka, Z Nation, Star Wars, James Bond, Primeval, a host of people from Game of Thrones, and the cast of Red Dwarf, who also gave a really great talk. And being not a huge convention, the queues were small and early in the morning were practically non-existent. You could really get time to chat to people as well as get selfies, and you weren't rushed when getting the professional photos with them either. And speaking of photos, the photo room was separate and set up to allow plenty of space to get great shots with the guest stars and also to get professional photos of your cosplay outfits. And speaking of cosplay, there were loads of amazing and really varied cosplayers at Reading, and they had an on-stage cosplay contest as well where you could strut your stuff. Overall, the event was really well put together and reminded me of the brilliant small Comic-Cons we used to get in London, where you could easily spend the entire weekend there and really get to see and do everything and speak to everyone. The community feel was awesome, and the variety and sheer volumes of things to do was, again, simply TARDIS-like for the venue. If you live near or can get down to Reading for their third convention, I would highly recommend it. It's on Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th of October at Rivermead Leisure Complex in Reading, and tickets start from £8.80 for an adult for just one day, up to £35 for a family of 4 for the whole weekend, and under 5s go free. This year they have an even bigger list of guests, including actors from Arrow, Stargate Atlantis, The Walking Dead, Infinity War, Highlander, Mary Poppins, TNA Impact, Farscape, Mad Max, Grimm, Leverage, Star Wars, 4 actors from Battlestar Galactica, and a whole bunch of people from Game of Thrones. There's loads more, including more actors, artists, prop makers, voice actors and pro cosplayers. Check out facebook.com/ReadingComicCon for the whole list. Oh, and way more cars and motorbikes, a Star Wars throne to sit on, and that awesome raptor will be back. That's it from me. I'm supposed to say something about like, comment, subscribe about here, but thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!